Hello and welcome if you're rejoining us. We have got a tremendous volume of calls. If volume is what it's to be counted by, then a good deal of crime is going to get cleared up tonight. I have to say it's rather disappointing on the murder of John Green. We haven't had a large volume of calls. A tremendous number, though, on photocall, on the incident desk, and above all on the rape in West London. And the officer in charge of that is delighted. Sue.
Well, earlier this evening, a 17-year-old girl described how shortly after leaving a West London nightclub, she was offered a lift home by a man claiming to be an off-duty taxi driver. He drove her to a nearby block of flats and raped her, then took her home. The next day, her attacker called at the girl's house. Her brother and a friend were there.
Hi, are you Sarah's brother?
Yeah.
Hi. Is Sarah okay?
Yeah, she's fine.
Well, I just finished work and I saw her fighting with someone. It was by Hammersmith Town Hall. And...
Well, Tom Lovering, quite quickly during the course of the programme, you were taking calls from people who think they'd either seen or met this man. How have things been developing since then?
Marvellous, Sue. We've had 130 calls so far, over 60 of them from people in the West London area who have seen this man. And the question I'd like to pose now is, where is he?
So your feeling that he was a man with local connections could be dead right?
Absolutely. The people that have phoned up from the West London area are all talking about him being local.
Right. Could we have his description again?
Age 30, short afro hair, 5'7". The interesting feature, he's got a watch on his right wrist, we believe. On that wrist, there is the black face, the silvery-coloured elastic watch strap.
Right. The car, although we didn't know the make of car, there are some distinctive points that you made about it.
Light-coloured car. A number of the calls that have come through tend to feel that it's a Peugeot or a Mercedes car, remembering the back seat as maroon, plastic perforated holes.
So if somebody can make the connection with that car, the watch, and somebody who's described as maybe half West Indian or of Southern European origin, that could be what you're looking for. Some people I know have already had the courage to come forward and ring and say that they've encountered this man, and I know you need more people to do that. It's vital that they should.
That's correct. Those persons that have come forward, I will speak to, or my female officers will speak to. If there are any women that have yet to come forward, they're afraid of speaking to men, there are a large number of women officers who are willing to speak to them, and their calls will be treated in the strictest confidence.
It does take courage, but it's what we need if we're going to solve this case and stop other people being attacked in the same way.
That's right, sir.
Mr. Lovering, thank you very much.
Thank you for your help.
Now to photo call. Here's Jackie Hames. Jackie, let's start first of all with the death of Leslie Bennett. You wanted to speak to Keith Burgess about that.
Yes, we do. We've had a good response, 20 calls here to the studio, a lot giving information about his background, the fact that he was in the army and worked up in Scotland, some of which we didn't know and which reaffirms what we did know, and many sightings, even one in Germany, up to 2 weeks ago. What we need to know is where is he now, so if anybody knows that, please call us.
OK, there he is. What about the robber in Stockport and in Warrington, somebody robbed building societies?
Yeah, a tremendous report, the best so far actually, nearly 30 calls, lots giving names, and in fact 2 giving exactly the same name, so we're really keen on that one. Let's hope that something comes of it.
And in central London, in Mayfair, a con man, apparently with a sort of East London accent, bearded chap, he conned the casino out of quite a lot of money.
Yes, despite the fact it was a very clear picture and a clear voice, very low response, unfortunately, only 2 calls. But one did give a name, and it was from a police officer, so perhaps that one call might be the one.
OK, Jackie, thank you. Sue.
What makes you think it was?
Well, now our appeal for whoever killed John Green at his home in Poole in Dorset early last month. There were a number of strange events during the week leading up to his death. First of all, an appointment at a roadside cafe on Tuesday, January the 29th, with somebody not named in his diary. Then there was shouting and banging coming both from his basement flat and then later on from his shop on the ground floor above it. And finally, the day before he died, he may have been involved in a tussle in the doorway of his shop. Well, Detective Superintendent John Homer, have viewers brought you any nearer solving any of those mysteries?
Yes, Sue, we have in fact filled the gap on the Tuesday of that week where John went to the Little Chef and have actually identified the person that he met, and will be able to put all of that together. So that has closed the gap down a little bit.
Right, so you've actually eliminated him from your inquiries now, which leaves you with finding out, for example, who it was involved in that tussle with him outside his shop on the last day he was seen alive.
Yes, that's right, Sue. And in fact, again, I would appeal for the writer of the anonymous letter to come forward, and indeed the person that picked that person up on the Friday afternoon. And just to remind your viewers of the descriptions provided about that particular part of the investigation, the first man was 20 to 24 years of age. He was 5 feet 10 inches tall, wearing light blue faded jeans and a darker blue top, and with that distinctive dirty blonde hair or auburn hair with blonde highlights. And the second man, again, was considerably older, about 40 years of age, much thicker set, needed a shave, had dark hair, and was wearing brown trousers and a lighter brown zip-up top.
Right, if anybody saw that incident, it was 3 o'clock on Friday the 1st, in the afternoon on Friday the 1st of February.
That's right.
On the Saturday, there was somebody else, another man seen coming out of his shop in the evening, shortly before his body was found. What did he look like?
He was about 6 feet tall, 35 to 45 years of age, and was of large build and wearing a distinctive thick-knit dark green jumper with denim jeans.
Now, the girl who got off that bus, the same bus, two old-age pensioners were known to get on. They haven't come forward, have they?
No, they haven't, and it could very well be so that because your programme goes out relatively late in the evening, that they may not. So what I would ask is for people that may be relatives or friends of those elderly people to consider ringing us so that we can in fact identify them and approach them at perhaps a more sensible hour as far as they're concerned.
And the bus route was?
It was a number 101 Bournemouth to Poole bus, and it stopped in the Branksome Parade just along from John Green's shop at about 6:15 on Saturday the 2nd of February.
It's sad there have been so few calls on this case, isn't it?
Yes, it is to some extent, but nevertheless, information that is provided is important, and it's the quality that counts. So I would implore people to continue to ring, however insignificant they may consider their information to be.
Mr. Homer, all the best. Thank you very much.
Well, now for Incident Desk, David Hatcher, let's start with the tragic case of the security guard who was murdered during a robbery in Guildford.
Yes, Gordon Rogers. Well, we had 16 calls, Nick, 8 of them concerning the getaway car, that blue Vauxhall Carlton that we were seeking information about, and another 8 regarding the artist's impression, which had been compiled by Gordon Rogers before he died. Some of those names are rather vague at this stage, but nevertheless we'll stay optimistic on getting a result there.
Any sightings of Vicky Hamilton, the schoolgirl missing from West Lothian?
Only 4 calls, a remarkably disappointing result. 3 possible sightings in the London area and 1 in Aberdeen. So if you've any idea where Vicky Hamilton is now, she's 15 years old, then please do still call us.
Another distressing case, we showed an artist's impression of a boy, probably 7 years of age, who was found, seen in a video seized by the Obscene Publications Squad. Police are very anxious to find out that he's okay. He could be, what, 10, 11, 12, even 13 by now. He's got 3 very distinctive moles on his cheek, isn't he?
That's right, yes, they're in a diamond shape. Well, we've had a number of calls suggesting, 4 calls from the London area suggesting who he might be. Also a call about those trainers that we publicised that he was wearing. Somebody suggested they could be black Nike trainers. There was a diamond shaped pattern on the sole and a white rim around the top of the sole. It may also be that we get some calls from the continent that might help us there.
Indeed, the programme is seen in the Netherlands. If you live out there, there could be a Dutch connection to this case, so if you know who that boy is, please call us. The A1 rape at Alconbury Hill in Cambridgeshire.
Yes, a much more promising response there. Over 50 calls, Nick. Numerous suggestions about the identification of that artist's impression that we showed. One detective sergeant, for example, certain beyond belief that it's a bloke who drinks in his pub.
Right. Alan
He could be wrong.
Leppert was murdered in Kent, in Moncton. What have you got on that?
Yes, again, a very good response. Over 40 calls. Again, a number of suggestions as to that E-fit that was shown of who one of the attackers might be. We'd like one caller to call us again who gave information about somebody in her local pub. We think that caller may be able to help us, and we'd like...
What about the cab driver in County Durham, Stephen Gaines, who was stabbed by one of his passengers?
Yes, again, we show another E-fit there of who the attacker is thought to be. Again, 18 calls with suggestions as to his possible identification. Again, another detective constable, this time from Essex, who's certain he knows who it is. He could be wrong. You might have the answer. Please still do call us.
David, thank you very much. Sue.
And that's it from us for this month. If you feel you may be able to help on any of our cases tonight and you haven't yet called, do please make contact. The lines here are going to be closing at midnight, but you can ring the incident rooms direct, and those numbers will be on your screen in just a moment. They're also on CFAX if you have that, on page 618.
Meanwhile, of course, don't have nightmares, do sleep well. Till next month. Good night.
Good night.